I'll tell you.
Bro.
Well, I mean,
Nah,
this
but
was to be said
we're more
about.
simple, bro. We don't have like six sixes in that term. But what do I think about that? I'm not sure, actually.
I
I
mean,
mean,
again, you're not. It's not like this is something that's going to come across all women, right? You've dated women that don't really care about your height,
right.
so it's not necessarily a thing like that's universal. But
Yeah, I think they have this ideal man in their head because of like movies and stuff, like the Prince Charming that they want. But at the end of the day, I feel like everybody has their own preference. But this is a conversation between friends.
None of what is said here should be taken as legal advice.
We are not experts in any way.
Take what resonates and leave the rest.
All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Michael. Welcome back to Shots of Info. For today, we're changing our format a little bit. We are talking about on foundations. We're talking about unicorns, and on finance, we are talking also about unicorns as well as some news updates. All right. So let's just go ahead and get it started.
sweet. All right, you guys. So welcome back. New week, new day. So unicorns. What are they? What does it look like? So for me, a unicorn is that horse, with the thing on its forehead, the horn, right? The horn. That's a normal interpretation of it. But right now we're talking about unicorns in relationships. So more specifically with guy or the other partner in a relationship, right? We don't discriminate against gender or sexuality. Um, so whatever the case, you're the other person in the relationship. Some like so. Here's the thing: people describe a unicorn as basically the perfect partner, right? Because they're perfect and they're magical and they don't exist. And to that end, we're here to kind of just talk about like what that would look like from a guy's perspective about a female. And then maybe we can switch it around, even though we don't have a woman's perspective, what you would what we think would probably be ideal for a guy to have that a woman would like.
Mhm.
So for you, what kind of woman would be a unicorn to you?
Hey, boom. She has to be sexy. She gotta be smart. She gotta be ambitious,
Mhm.
and she gotta be like a bit nurturing. So I know my kids will be safe. Then that would be like the most basic criteria for a unicorn. And honestly, I mean, yeah, I have come across with people who meet
So
certain
here's a question:
but
what's sexy?
huh?
What's sexy?
Sex is attractive. Like she has to be beautiful. I usually go for the face more than the body.
Bootyful?
Huh?
You said bootyful or beautiful?
Both beautiful and beautiful.
I like that.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what about you?
Yeah. Similarly, basically, it's super simple with guys. Honestly, I usually find like she has to be attractive, which can be subjective, but for the most part, it's just like a really nice physique, more feminine as opposed to masculine. So
Mhm.
I'm not really looking for a woman that has broad shoulders, big biceps, nice chest pack or pecs that her boobs kind of sit on. Right? I just want a feminine physique. Um, Obviously, again, when it comes to like the softer aspects, caring, nurturing, ambitious. Ambitious, it can kind of go in either way, or not necessarily that. It can be anything, but I would shit. Would you like a woman that's ambitious with like business and something like that?
In a way, yeah, but more like in life. Like she has to have a plan, like a goal. She wants to build something. Maybe not monetary, but like she wants to build like a good family, or I don't know, something out of her life, like how we have our purpose, she also has to have her purpose. That we push each other and we motivate each other to go for it. Else it's just gonna be boring. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention, she has to make me laugh, bro. I like a
It's a
shorty
big one,
that
right?
yeah, I like a shorty who has a good sense of humor or who understands my sense of humor. Because if we don't vibe, that's a problem. You can be sexy, you can be attractive, but if we don't vibe, I'm sorry to tell you, That's
It's
a
a wrap.
turn on. Yeah. One thing that I have come across with is like that shorty has some of the qualities, right? Like she would be beautiful, like we've been texting back and forth, like through text, like it's hard not to connect. But when we hang out on like real life, bro, there was not the chemistry, there was not the vibe. And I'm sorry to tell you, if we don't vibe, we don't vibe. It's as
That
simple as
is what
that.
it is, man. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, pretty basic. Most of our, I guess, the guys' thing is just about physical, right? And then obviously some aspects of personality that would be good to have, just in general, being kind, being nice, caring, nurturing. There's also something to be said about respect, right? You don't want a woman that's constantly nagging you and disrespecting you, or trying to make you look bad in front of people and things like that. But
Right.
that kind of just goes to more of a general thing about you want to surround yourself with people that respect you, as opposed to just having them be specific to the woman that you're dating. All right, split the script here. So I've heard through the internet that one of the issues with women is that they have a lot of standards for men. Like the women have lows, like relative to the standards that they have for the guys, they don't really match up. So, and again, this is speculation, or this is things that I've heard, not necessarily things that I believe. But one of the things, or a couple of the things that women would like to have in them is they're called the 6 6s, and I don't remember all 6 of them, but I'll try my best. So he has to be 6 feet tall. He has to make 6 figures. He has to have 6 inches. He has to have, I think, 6 months out of a previous relationship.
6 foot tall.
I already said that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm missing 2 more. But yeah, those are the 4 that I remember right now. And essentially, those are like, a lot of guys aren't going to reach those standards, right? A lot of guys aren't 6 feet tall. A lot of guys don't have 6 inches. A lot of guys don't have 6K in the bank, or they're making 6K. No debt. A lot of people have debt nowadays, so that's an issue. The other 2 6s will come back to me at some point, but we'll see. But what do you think about that? Does that sound
That's a real unicorn, bro.
right?
Like, I feel like you're gonna come across that type of man for like once or twice in your lifetime, but that's a bit unrealistic. Like, you're not gonna find. That's a lot of criteria. Like, you see how men we're more.
It's just like, be physically attractive. I don't really care how tall you are.
Right.
Well, I mean,
but we're more
about
simple, bro. We don't have like 6 6s in that term. But what do I think about that? I'm not sure, actually.
I mean, again, it's not like this is something that's going to come across all women, right? You've dated women that don't really care about your height.
Right.
So it's not necessarily a thing like that's universal, but
yeah, I think they have this ideal man in their head because of like movies and stuff, like the Prince Charming that they want. But at the end of the day, I feel like everybody has their own preference. But sometimes I feel like some shorties, they be attracted to like guys who reminds them of their dad in a way.
But I think you can actually put that in reverse and say the same thing about men to women. They're attracted to women that are like their mothers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That can go both ways around. But so if you're dating a girl, go meet their parents, see how the dad acts, and see if you remind of yourself. But honestly, when it comes to women, I feel like they do have like a more harsh criteria for men. And the reason why is because they got option, like they got like probably 100 guys on their DMs every day, and they want the best. Like we talked about this a little bit before. Like they want the best of the best, but sometimes the best of the best.
Same for the guy.
True, but the best of the best sometimes is not the best for you. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I would say because I've read a lot about like the biological aspects as to why men and women interact in the way that they do. guys really like think about it. If you're drunk, anything looks good when you're drunk, right? You're willing to bang anything. But as for women, I mean, you can probably make the same argument when they're drunk, but usually the criteria is a lot higher and the standards are higher simply because you extrapolate, and let's say we go back 10,000 years. If you got with a man that impregnates you and, you know, they're not of the highest quality, very easily you could have just died, or the children that you're born with or you're born into the world with this man aren't going to be particularly strong, so you're not really going to have a good chance of survival. So you always want to be looking, or at least for women, from a woman's perspective, you want to be looking for the best man available, best man possible. And one of those things is that's the criteria of the 6'6s, right? A man that's 6 feet tall can probably display a lot of strength and just general sense of dominance, right? 6 figures, at least in today's day and age, means that's a man that's resourceful and he has the ability to maneuver and the freedom to do whatever he wants. What was the other one? 6 feet, 6 inches to please her, right? You don't want to be dealing with the schmediums. I mean, again, it's not about the size; it's about how you use it. But still, so yeah, I figure those criteria are set there because the standards have to be higher for women as opposed to men. Because men, again, we can just smash and dash, right? And we don't really have to worry too much about the consequences because we don't get pregnant. And we don't get to that point where we can't do anything for an extended period of time because we're raising children.
All right, boom. So to piggyback from the sixes, I Googled it. And the other two that you were missing is drives a 600 horsepower car and has a six-pack.
Yeah, there we go. I knew it. Looks and more about money. But the 600 horsepower car is more about like being willing to risk yourself, putting yourself in dangerous situations, being courageous, basically. So there you go. That makes sense, right? You want to get that's courageous because, again, go back in time. If the guy isn't courageous and, you know, he's a little bitch, he's not going to defend you. And the six-pack, because he looks good. Good genetics means you're going to have children that look just as good, if not better.
Well, from what I have heard, like some girls, they actually do prefer about that.
Dad bods?
That bods. That's why I keep mine.
I think that's a phase, but generally speaking, you want the guy with the best genetics, right? And that's usually the guy with the six-pack. And the same thing with the women. You don't, I mean, you can like the big girls, but if you want to have children, your best chance of survival or having the best offspring, you're going to be with the healthier women. All right. I think
that covers it. I think, yeah. Unicorns.
Are the standards the same? No.
No.
Is that an issue? No. It's just it's life that we live in. You just deal with it. You find your niche and you stick with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like I said, this is just kind of like a brief outline. Like everybody is going to have the same preferences. And we, like as men, we are a bit more straightforward in what we want. Whereas women, they have like this superficial and looks and maybe more like analytical and emotional connection that they look for.
Now, I feel like the guys have a more superficial outlook on appearance, but that's just because appearance is visually stimulating to us, and that usually is what gets us turned on. As opposed to women, it's more like a mental thing, right? So like with women, that's why you always see them, they always fantasize about, you know, reading those erotic novels or having something like that. That stimulates the brain and gets those juices flowing. Whereas for us, we just see a hot woman that just, boom, we're ready to go.
That's true. All right, so let's move on to finance section of the day. We're also talking about unicorns. Now, there is this term on finance that in business, a unicorn is a privately held company or a startup. Actually, it's a startup because it's just beginning. That is valued over $1 billion. So the term was coined in 2013 by venture capitalist Aileen Lee, choosing the mythical animal to represent the statistical rarity of such successful ventures. So in other words, a unicorn is a company that just started, maybe like within the 5 years of a decade, and they are already valued on $1 billion. What do you have to add on that?
I mean, that's crazy because usually, like, the reason why companies go public is because that's how they get the funding to do the things that they want or they need to do in order to improve. But if you don't, and you're able to just like literally make the profit just out of pocket or just from just how good you are, that just speaks to how good the company is. So those exist because those are so good.
Right. Some memorable mentions on that that are part of this list, or that are unicorns at the moment of this recording, is going to be SpaceX, on a value of $46 billion. We have Roblox, which is the internet software and service, which is valued at $29.5 billion. And they're actually planning to IPO this this year. We don't have that specific date. Then we have Epic Games, which is valued on $17 billion. And we had, no. I was going to say Airbnb and Postmates. They were not valued over $1 billion before the IPO. We have the famous, what's it called? Vaping company, Juul, that on 2017, it reached a peak of $12 billion. Ever since it has come down. And we have Robinhood, which is valued at over $11 billion as well. So some of these companies, they discover some level of success. We also, include Coinbase, Discord. There's plenty of them. There's a lot of Discords that have surpassed $1 billion. And usually, most of the unicorns companies that I have seen, they're going to be tech related because that is what's trending at the moment, and where the money's at, especially during this pandemic. But this company have already seen a level of success that other companies took them years or like decades to achieve. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. What a unicorn is. So if we reference about a unicorn, we're talking about those companies that are evaluated over $1 billion.
Nice. Great.
All right. You got anything to add to the topic?
No, that's pretty much it. Unicorns, they're rare. They're rare because they're so good.
Cool. All right. So now some news for the day. Vaccine tracker. More than 65 million doses of coronavirus vaccines have been administered globally, according to Bloomberg. The U.S. has been averaging 1.16 million doses a day over the past week. At this rate, we can hit the Biden administration's goal of 100 million shots in the new president's first 100 days. Now, when it comes to that first 100 days of a president, it's like the first 3 months that they are in office. That's pretty much where they get most of the work done. And that's where, they get criticized the most as well. So that they're going to be, it's like the most important 100 days, pretty much, of the presidency. And that will determine whether he will be a good president or a bad president. Well, historically, that's what the critics kind of look at, how he's doing, how he's picking up, and stuff like that. Now, earnings season is on the way. Well, it started last week. So the quarter 4 from the 2020 is getting released. A lot of companies have already, released their earnings report this week. I'm looking forward to Apple's in Wednesday. The major U.S. equities indexes are at a near or all-time heights. Bullish traders, known as call options, reached their highest level on record earlier this month. And yeah, even I started trading options, so I can see that it has been a good run last week. We're gonna see how this week take us onto. Now, we completed 1-year anniversary on Saturday. So the Chinese city of Wuhan it started on lockdown a year ago. So from Saturday a year ago, it started the lockdown that lasted 76 days from late January until April. It's been a year since coronavirus appeared, and we're still here, which is crazy. Anyways, last but not least, on my list, hey, that rhymed. Can be an artist now. A SpaceX rocket launched 143 small satellites into orbit, and if that sounds like a lot, it is. 143 payloads is a new record of a single rocket. China topped the US as a destination for foreign direct investment last year. The first time in decades the US hasn't held the top spot. Wow. China is taking over, man. That's crazy. All University of Michigan sports are shutting down for the 2 weeks after a student athlete were infected with the new highly contagious strain of the coronavirus. Tens of thousands of Russians protested Saturday on demand the release of the top Putin opponent Alexei Navalny. Recreational cannabis sales began in Arizona on Friday. It is the 15th state to broadly legalize marijuana.
What state was that?
Arizona. It passes a law during the elections. But yeah,
New York is next, baby. You ready?
I'm seeing next. So I expect the cannabis industry soaring the next few months or so in the next year. So
buy some stocks.
And most of them are sitting like below $10, actually below $15. So take your chances there. Cool. Looking ahead on the week, on my end, I'll be see if I can get rid of those options calls that I have for Apple. I'm trading
profit. It's time to lock it in.
Looking profits. I will look in some profits on NEO, gold, and I'm also trading with the market. So triple Q. Those are my trades for the week. I will definitely start looking more into I've been diversifying my portfolio a little bit, getting into raw materials as well as what was the last one? Oh, a little bit of energy as well. Even though I haven't traded energy as much, but it has potential with this president. I saw some companies that might get some contracts on, advance. What are you looking ahead?
So from my end, still on the trading aspect of Bitcoin and the mining companies, which is going pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Interestingly enough, I don't know if we talked about GameStop here before, but
we did.
Yeah. So whenever we talked about GameStop before, I think it was hovering around like $15, $20. And today in the pre-market, it hit highs of
126.
136.
Oh, 136. Damn.
So
triple
this thing. So what ended up happening, and I can't really explain the concept to you that well because I don't really know it, but it's called the short squeeze.
Right.
It's essentially everybody that was shorting the GameStop, which is again betting against GameStop, got completely wiped out, and the stock just ran up massively. So within, let's see, since those that $20 price point,
it's been like what, like a week?
Yeah, it seems like it started as early as let me see just the percentage return real quick. It's gone up 500% since it was at $20, and the last time it was at $20, it was around the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, another good potential that you mentioned is going to be AMC. So definitely keep a lookout on them. We might see some.
Might have a similar approach with the short squeezing here, so keeping a lookout on them. And that's it, man.
That's pretty much it. Well, guys, thank you for listening. Enjoy the week. Have a great beginning of the week. And this is the last week of the first month of 2021. It's the end of January, baby. And we made it. Peace out.
No aliens. Fuck.
What the is we doing?